What is up, everybody? I hope everybody's new year is off to a great start. I know mine is. Mine is keeping up with the videos. I'm doing a very shitty job on that, but again, we'll get rolling as the year goes on. Like I said, I'm doing a lot of work behind the scenes because I got a lot of shit that I want to do. It's going to be a very ambitious. But the reason why I did this video is because in my New Year's video, I had mentioned that I learned the probably the most important lesson in my life, and I learned this in easily the worst year of my life. 2023 was such a clusterfuck year, but because I've learned this lesson, and I do think this is the most important lesson I've learned in the last 30 years, I am truly grateful for everything that had happened in 2023 because I don't think I would have come to this realization had I not gone through what I had gone through. So, and the reason why I wanted to do this video and share this lesson with everybody, because I have a feeling that if you stepped out of the box of your situation, if you had a really shitty year, or you're in a really bad spot, or your mindset's in a bad place, I guarantee you, if you stepped out of yourself for a moment and look at your situation and look at your environment, I guarantee you it's all going to boil down to kind of the same thing I realized when this happened, right? When this whole revelation happened, right? And it's ironically it happened December 6th. So there was 3 weeks pretty much left of the year, of this shitty year, and all of a sudden it all dawned. And how it happened was it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. I had my best friend over and we got into a huge fight. I mean, fucking volcanoes erupted fight. We were screaming at the top of our lungs. We're cussing at each other. I mean, we were going at it, right? And about 15 minutes into this heated argument, she just blurts out, "Your life is a fucking mess." And for whatever reason, the second she finished that, I mean, I just shut the fuck up. It was like a midget came up to me and kicked me in my balls 4 times. Like, I just shut up. And I'm looking at her and she's looking at me and she starts to apologize. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And I stopped her and I'm like, I don't even know what to say about that. And then I'm looking back and, I'm going through everything that has happened to me over the year. And I'm like thinking, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, well, don't apologize. You're right. I guess my life is a mess, right? I mean, everything that happened last year made my life so chaotic. And, but I mean, the second it was like all of a sudden, all these gears started cranking in my brain. And I don't know if there's something on a subconscious level, like something that just hit, right? It ignited something. And I just started thinking, and she's apologized. She's like, I went too far, and I'm like, you got to stop. I'm like, because something happened there. I'm like, you said that. I'm like, I mean, it like took the breath out of me. I was just like, like, well, what the fuck? And so then she leaves, and I didn't even sleep that night because my brain is just, I'm just like thinking, I'm like reflecting back on my life and my previous relationships and the situation I was in for the whole year, and with the exception of my marriage. So my marriage, this does not relate, but everything else. And I'm like thinking, I'm like, fuck, like the last 5 years, I had a really good job. I was making really good money. I have a great career, even though I'm not a big fan of what I do. I'm really fucking good at my job. I went on more vacations in the last 5 years than I have my entire life. I saw and experienced things that I never thought I'd experience, from ayahuasca to going to other countries to going to other states and seeing historical landmarks. Uh, I had a clear sight of how I wanted my businesses to go. There was a point in time where we almost struck huge in one of the businesses I started. I was meditating 3 times a day. I was journaling 2, 3 times a day. I was working out. I was reading every single day. I mean, I was watching what I eat. I had a really good system going. So how the fuck is my life such a mess? Like I had everything going for me, right? Like it seems like everything was going good. Like what was going on in my life that was causing the chaos when here's my situation. Ooh. And then I started thinking about the people I had in my life at those times. And again, this goes back, you know, 15 years, and with the exception of my marriage. And I'm like, now I started to think about that. Let's see, like here's everything I had going for me. I had the people in my life were I had people who were wanting a divorce, saying they're going to get a divorce, and then delaying the divorce, and then complaining that they weren't divorced. Right. I had those situations going on. I had situations where, you know, we were very close on striking this huge defensive government contract in a business, and there's some guy, the other owner was just mentally unstable and was sending death threats to his family members and to me, and literally blew up the business right when we were about to pretty much sign paperwork, securing this huge government contract, and he self-sabotaged it, right? That had nothing to do with me. The whole, and then I got people who are going through divorces, but then it's lingering out there, and then they're coming over here and they're complaining about the situation, and they're getting all emotional about it, and being, empathic that I am, I'm getting emotional about it, right? Because it's starting to spark me up, and people who don't know what they want to do in life, or they got these shitty jobs and they want school, and the list goes on and on, right? So none of these problems were my problem. These were the people that were coming into my life with these problems, right? And I never put up boundaries. I got so involved in other people's shit that it was starting to affect my shit. It was causing stress and anxiety, and I was getting emotional towards it, and I was getting pissed off, and it was hard to focus at work. And I couldn't tell you. And up until 5 years ago, when I used to take vacation time for work, which I seldom did, but when I did, it was always to work on something else. It was never to go away. It was never to relax. It was, okay, I'm going to take a week off because now I want to focus on this, right? And I want to build this. It was always that pattern. And the last 5 years, I finally said, you know what? I'm going to treat myself to vacation and do it that way, right? And I was going to treat myself to nicer dinners, or doing things in the city that were things that maybe I couldn't afford a while ago, and now I have a chance to experience it, right? Like, that was my mindset. I couldn't tell you how many vacations blew up over a text message. And vacation's going good. One text message, and it lasts 2, 3 days of the vacation's ruined. I couldn't tell you how many dinners I sat at while other people are on their phone going back and forth with somebody because of a situation that they're in control of, but they just want to procrastinate it and delay it because of their fear. I couldn't tell you how many dinners got ruined because of that. I couldn't tell you how many nights and dates got ruined because of that. I couldn't tell you how many times, you know, when we were on the cusp of breaking through in a business, and then the psychotic owner self sabotages it. That wasn't my fault. I spent 20 hours a day, almost every single day, trying to build this business from nothing, and to have somebody else just come in and self sabotage it, right? Not to mention the money I lost. I couldn't tell you how many times I would be working and busy at work, and people are over and they're going back and forth, and they're on the phone, and they're having these heated arguments, and then they're complaining and they're crying, and it's hard for me to focus because I'm trying to listen to them and trying to support them. I couldn't tell you how many times that happened. I couldn't tell you how many times I had drug addicts in my apartment overdosing on drugs, me not even fully aware of what's going on, and all of a sudden coming back and this person's pale white convulsing on my couch. I couldn't tell you how many times I had to give up a Friday or Saturday night because I had to be a ghost, or there was something fun going on, but I would be able to go. But somebody hit the interest button on Facebook with the invite, and now I can't go because, well, I can't be seen around certain people, right? Because word's going to get back to other people because of other people's situation. I couldn't tell you how many nights got ruined from. I couldn't tell you how many nights got ruined from, you know, people who just don't invite me out because they want to relapse on their drug problem. And the list goes on. And what I realized is none of my life was never a mess. My life, actually, I had my shit together. I worked very fucking hard to get to where I got. I worked very fucking hard to make the money that I was making. And I worked very fucking hard to afford vacations that I deserved to go on. And not to mention dinners and whatever it was. I worked hard for that. It was the other people and their problems, and because they didn't want to deal with their problems, or they wanted to try to escape their problems, they brought their problems into my life, and where I fucked up is I allowed it. There has been so many times I should have put my foot down and said, "This is right. This cannot happen. I cannot have this in my life anymore. I cannot have these people in my life anymore. I can't have people who don't have the balls to get their shit straight now. So they're just gonna bring their storm into my space, and my dumbass being, sympathetic as it is, like I get so engrossed into it. And for one, that is because I know what I've been through so much shit in my life. I know what it feels like to lose sleep over problems or financial problems or have depression and anxiety issues. Like I know all too well what it feels like to be that or feel like there's no hope or no end to anything. And because of that, I try so hard to support these people and try to guide them through that and explain to them what I had to do to get through that I end up getting so emotionally engrossed in their shit that all of a sudden it becomes. And going into New Year's Eve, it wasn't even 2 days into the new year. I said, you know what? I'm going to change. I have to make the hardest decisions of my life and start excommunicating these people out of my life. Right. I had a friend of 12 years, and on New Year's Day is when I told her, I'm like, I'm sorry, but we cannot be friends anymore. This shit has gone on long enough. She started repeating toxic patterns and habits and started falling back on me again for support. I had to cut it off. And as scary as it is to just not know what's going to happen now to her, it's not my problem. She's an adult. She makes her own decisions. She is the one who decides where her path goes, not me. And so I had to cut that friend off completely. And that was probably one of the hardest decisions I had to make. New Year's Eve, I was put right back in a position once again where I had to make that decision. And it was another person going through another situation that has been going on for months and months and months. And, you know, I've listened to this person vent. I've tried to give this person advice, and they just don't want to hear it. And they repeat patterns over and over again. And sure enough, patterns were repeated, got upset. She wanted to leave the party. I said, okay, I am not leaving the party. I am having a good time. And left, got a text. Where are you at? I'm at the party. I'm having a good time. So it was already New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I was already put in positions where I had to follow through on my New Year's. And that New Year's resolution was to focus 100% on myself. I could be a friend of people. People can call me, they can vent, people can ask for advice, I can give them advice. People want to get out for a little bit, we can hang out. But I will not get engrossed in shit that they continue to repeat, right? If shit has been going on for 6 months, that's on them. I can advise you if you don't want to follow the advice, that's fine. No one says you have to be right. Go for it. It's your life. Live it. And that is how I have to treat these people. That's how I have to treat people who are going through some shit, right? Like I can listen, I can advise, but it's their life. If they want to sit there and torture themselves over the things that they're going through and not work on getting over the things that they're going through, or not have the bravery to face the conflicts that they're going through and get themselves out of the situations that they're in, or get the mental health that they need because they're all over the place, and that is not my problem, and I cannot make that my problem. And where I fucked up in the past is I was making that my problem. I was spending time and time again trying to help people think, what can we do? How do we skate this? Like it's a team thing, right? Like we. It was never we. Anytime I needed help with somebody, no one was ever there for me. I had to figure that shit out on my own. And that sucks. And I went into there thinking that as well. Like I remember what it was like facing all my demons by myself. I remember what it was like fucking almost dying. That happened 3 months ago. And I had to face that. My life is precious revelation. I had to go through that by myself. No one was there. No one was there to help me. No one was there to listen to me. No one was there to understand what I was going through or what was going through my mind. And if I wanted somebody there, they would choose what they wanted to do over that anyways, because it's happened in the past. It's happened many, many a times where I actually needed somebody and they chose something stupid that they wanted to do for fun instead of being there because I didn't want to be. So fuck that. Fuck that period. You have to focus on yourself solely. You can be a good person. You can help people. You could do good deeds. You can, like I said, you could be a support system for someone, but there's got to be a point where you draw the line, and they have to figure it out themselves. Life fucking sucks. It's a hard lesson. Hard. The only way you're gonna learn is you got to figure it out yourself. And I have a feeling that a lot of people make the same mistake I did. Had I realized this years and years ago, I think it would have been a lot easier for me to put up boundaries. I think I would have gotten my heart broken less and less. I Because overall, at the end of the day, when you love yourself, you figure out what you want to do, you figure out what you want in a relationship, right? Then where's the pressure? Why get engrossed in somebody? Why get involved with somebody who has no clue about any of that? Why get involved with someone who doesn't even know what they want to do in life, or even know how to pursue it, or have no clue what they want in a relationship? Every relationship I went into, with the exception of my marriage, all had common trends. They were just getting out of a breakup or a divorce. They were going through a divorce. Yeah, I was a mistress at one point. They were going through it, but didn't have the balls to go through with it. They didn't know what they wanted to do in life. They were lost. They couldn't decide if they wanted to go to school or what they wanted as a career. Like these are the people I attracted to my, because at those times, that's what my life was like, right? And then anytime I would ever voice something like, this is repeating, or why does this keep happening? It always got shot back in my, I'm not being supportive, right? Or why am I arguing with them? Or, whatever it is, like the guilt trip, right? Or they start fucking with your head, right? They just start throwing shit back at you. And I'm telling you, people need to really check their environment. And you see those motivational reels all the time. These coaches saying like, it's the people you bring around you, and you know that is so fucking true. And I know it's cliche, but man, I if you want to strive to have a better life, a happier life, a more stress free life, don't bring you got to follow that advice. You can't bring people into your life that are just going to cause chaos in your world. And like I said, I had to make the so many tough decisions to cut these fucking people off, because I mean they were bringing me down. You could sit there and watch somebody on a sinking ship, going down right into the ocean. You could sit there on the lifeboat waiting for them to get off the ship and swim to safety, right? So you could be there to save them. There's got to be a point where you realize they ain't getting off the fucking boat, right? Like, you could just sit out there all day at sea just waiting for them. You can't do it. And I remember I was reading and I heard this quote, and I don't know who said it. So post something in the comments below if you know who said this, but it was something along the lines of like, those who are broken will seek you out to be. Those who are broken that you healed will be the ones that leave. And that quote, I mean, literally that quote hit me hard. I'm probably gonna get that tattooed somewhere. I'm still trying to think of the design, but it's so fucking true. Like, if you are gonna have friends in your life, or you're gonna spend time with people, make sure you spend time with people who drive you to be a better person, who motivate you to do better in your career. I always all my friends, they all do much better than me uh with their career, and I'm super proud of them. And these are the people that I need to spend more time with, because they drive me to be a better version of myself. But instead, I put those friends aside because I'm too busy trying to repair these people in my life that are completely broken. And then it ultimately just leaves me shattered. And that was my big, big revelation. All from that simple phrase of just my life's a mess. Because when you really step back and look at it, chances are it's not you that's really fucking shit up. It's probably the people in your life that you're bringing that are causing so much chaos in your life. And that's what I realized. I mean, everything that I had lost all dominoed from getting too much involved in something that didn't even involve. It just involves people that were close. And then I end up bearing the burden of the act. And I know this video is a little ranty, but I really do hope somebody watches this and they get something from it, because like I said, it is hands down probably the most important lesson I learned thus far in my life. And it's something that moving forward, I am going to remind myself and make sure that I do every single. And I guarantee you, moving forward, if you follow that and start eliminating these toxic people out of your life, I have a feeling moving forward, your years are going to get better, not worse. So I hope this was helpful. Everybody have a great day. Please make sure you like, post a comment in the video. Let me know what you think, or if you have stories that you want to share. Social media is all up here. You can go follow me over there. Although I did get a flag that Facebook's deleting my business account. I don't know if it's spam or not. So I guess we'll find out if the account's still there or not at some point. But everybody have a good week. I'll do more videos. I'm out.